Time for a Delta Unisaw reassembly. Arbor rebuild and internal parts reassembly in this video here. So I've got the Arbor bracket put up in a vise here, and I've got the Arbor in my hand. I've got the first bearing on, and I'm putting the pulley and the spacers in between, and the thrust washer as well behind the bearing on the left hand side there. So I've got the spacers, the pulley, and now I'm threading. I've got the bearing on this side now, and I'm threading the spanner nut to lock that bearing in place. And then once I get this aligned here with the thrust washer or spring washer, and then the shaft going through the pulley and the spacers, then I'll use a wooden dowel and a hammer to start to hammer that in and get that bearing seated on the casting. Just checking everything here to make sure everything's spinning freely. And now I'm putting the washer and the nut on the non-flange side of the Arbor and tightening everything up. Now I'm tightening the set screw on the pulley to make sure that's all set. A couple more cranks, not too tight, but you want it to be good and tight in there so nothing rattles around. And then I'm just bending a tab on the washer to lock that nut in place on that end. So now we're to reassembly, starting with the front trunnion bracket, and then we bring the yoke in upside down, shaft on top, and then we spin it and get it into place, and then the machined ways will line up there, and then I'll get the back trunnion bracket in place, and then we'll put the screws in, the bolts. We'll put the bolts into the 5 holes, and we'll thread those by hand. And then once those bolts are threaded by hand, then we will get the bracket for the tilt shaft and tighten those screws down fully. That's really the reference point in relation to the cabinet that I like to start with. I think that's the best place to start. And then from there you can make sure everything's aligned and that the trunnion is moving freely and up and down and left and right. And then you can come back around and tighten up these bolts fully. So as I said, now I'm going to put this plate around the tilt shaft and tighten those down. Those screws go into the front trunnion bracket casting, and so that then gives you the reference point for everything else to work from. I'm getting the hand wheel on to do a couple test turns to make sure that the yoke is moving freely on those trunnion brackets and on the machined ways. I like to make sure that those are aligned properly. Make sure the locking knob locks after all that work of disassembly and reassembly. And then I put the front hand wheel on, and now I'm putting the Arbor bracket on. So you got to make sure that the shaft with the motor bracket here is lifted up all the way, and you align the key with the keyway. And I'm going to pound this on carefully with a wooden block. Make sure that everything's aligned. And then later, when the motor's on, then we'll fully align everything with the belts. So here we are, all set. Hey, thanks for watching. Hope the video's been helpful for you. Feel free to subscribe using the subscribe link. And if you've benefited from the channel and enjoy what you see here, consider donating by using the PayPal link that's on my banner picture on my YouTube channel homepage. I put out a video per week. Hope they're helpful. Anything else I can do, contact me. Thanks a lot.